Do you have no idea how to create Instagram Reels and you're really overwhelmed because you have no idea what kind of videos you should even be making? Well, I'm going to reveal the 5 main types of Instagram Reels videos that you should be making, and these are the kind of ideas I am pulling from constantly to make Reels for my own Instagram. And if you want a free Instagram Reels cover template, there's a link in the description, and let's go ahead and just dive right in. The first Reel idea that I have been using over and over again when it comes to creating Reels is thinking about your ideal client and the kinds of people that you serve and how you can really help them, right? So giving tips and tricks, giving valuable content, essentially taking that idea of writing captions that are super valuable for your ideal audience, and instead of writing a caption, thinking about how can you take that and put that into 15 to 30 seconds in a reel instead and make it really short and fast and quick tips. You can do this in a variety of ways. I've done this in the sense of like 3 tips for this or 5 tips for this. You can also do something in the sense of like 1 thing you need to know when you are doing this, or 1 thing you need to know about this. So it really just depends on your industry, it depends on your area of expertise, it depends on your ideal client, the things that you're good at, kind of how you can merge all those things together and create reels that are going to help attract your ideal client to your account and also fall in love with your content and then therefore fall in love with you. And hopefully the end goal of all of this is for them to become a customer, right? For them to become a client, for them to purchase from you. So make sure you're creating reels with this in mind. And this is just a really practical way to do that, is creating reels that literally have content in them that are exactly for your ideal client that's going to be super valuable for them. So one example of how I've done this is I created a reel recently that was, the premise of it was how to get more likes on Instagram. And it was just a really quick way to use a sound that I saw trending on TikTok, and I used that to make this tip, basically telling people to just engage with other people if they want more likes on their own Instagram account. And so when we talk about making reels that give valuable content, it's not necessarily like you have to jam-pack 10 of your best tips for something into 1 reel. Think about how you can almost flesh that out a little bit more and create maybe 10 different reels that are giving 1 tip in every single reel, or maybe 1 thing that maybe people wouldn't think of when it comes to your industry, when it comes to your area of expertise and how you show up in the world and how you serve people. The second reel idea is to share a behind the scenes of yourself in your element. So no matter if you're a graphic designer, a photographer, a content creator, YouTuber, no matter what you do, no matter what it is that you are doing as a small business owner, show up and show people the behind the scenes and the process and get them excited about that, right? So share a little bit about, if you work from home every day, share about that. If you create video content, share about that. If you're a photographer, share behind the scenes of you at shoots. But people love to see the start to finish and the behind the scenes of how something kind of comes to life, right? Think about Fixer Upper. People are obsessed with that show, and they love just to see the before and how they took that and turned it into the after. So think about whether it's different parts of your experience, if you're a service-based business, how you help transform your clients and how you help them, whether it's showing like a behind the scenes of you working on something. Help to show people from start to finish, like kind of what your process is, and doing that really quickly in a reel could be a really, really cool way to do that. My currently most viewed reel right now has over 200,000 views, which is insane. Like, I never thought that would happen with reels, but this is a behind the scenes and me giving a tip on how to post. So it was almost merging that first idea that I just shared with you guys with this second idea and taking a behind the scenes of myself posing a couple and also giving a tip and sharing about how photographers can do that for themselves. Because at this point, my main audience is other photographers, other small business owners. Because I started out as a photographer, I tend to attract a lot of photographers. And so that's why I created a reel that was really geared for photographers and helping them with their shooting, helping them how to pose couples. And that reel really took off for me. And I've kind of taken that same concept too, and I've done a lot of different other like posing reels, because those tend to do really, really well on my account, because they're not only showing a behind the scenes of me on location shooting a real couple, real wedding, whatever it is, real client, but I'm also showing them or giving them a tip and sharing with them how they can do the same exact thing and how they can show up and serve their clients really well. The next reels idea I have for you guys is to follow a trend. And okay, so right now it is October? October 1st. It's October 1st of 2020. So it's October of 2020. And right now, there really isn't a way within Instagram Reels to see what trends are, right? There aren't really ways to see like what are the trending Reels, what are the trending sounds, what are the trending hashtags. There's not really a way to see that within Instagram Reels. However, you can take trends over on TikTok and bring them over to Reels. And I've seen that do really well too, because these are things that are trending on TikTok. And if you're bringing it over to Reels, you're probably one of the first people to bring it over to Reels, and you have a better chance of even just your video getting seen by more people. You have a better chance of it not being used too much on Reels yet, whereas even if it has on TikTok, people on Reels might not have seen that trend yet. So thinking about what are the trends on TikTok that you are able to use and able to implement and to kind of add your own spin on it according to your niche or industry or whatever, and then bringing that over to Reels and uploading it there too. So one example of how I have done this is there was a sound, and I don't know exactly how it began, but it's a sound that at the beginning it's just like a really simple song, and then it turns into this like really upbeat, like goofy song. And it's kind of, people were using it a lot for like, here's what people think I do and here's what I really do, or here's what is normal and here's what I actually do, or something like that. And so I kind of took that sound and turned it into, here's who my clients think that I'm hiring when they're hiring a photographer, and then here's who they're actually hiring, and all the things that I do that go beyond just being a photographer. And so that's one way that you're able to take a trend and kind of put your own spin on it. And you can also upload that to Reels. So instead of just letting it live in TikTok, bring it over to Reels. And I've seen that do really, really well too, just jumping on those trends. And in TikTok, if you're not sure how to find trending hashtags or sounds, literally there's two things I do. So number one, you can go to the Discover page and just scroll, and it'll show you all the trending hashtags that are being used at that time. You can also just scroll your feed, scroll the For You page, and you can just see what are the trends that are kind of coming up in your feed and how you can put your own spin on it. The next idea for Reels is to show people how to do something. So this is going a step further. We talked about that, giving valuable information, giving tips and tricks. Take it a step further, show them how to do things. So for example, I'm a photographer, and a lot of my posing reels have done super, super, super well. And one way that I've been able to do that and to have posing reels that have done super well is by showing people how to pose themselves. So not just posing couples where that's geared more for photographers, but gearing it more for small business owners in general, content creators in general, giving some tips on how to pose themselves in front of a camera. And I've seen those reels do really well. So think about what's your area of expertise, what are the things you're really good at, how you could generally help people with those things, how you can show them how to do things, how you can visually show them instead of just telling them what the poses are. Get in front of the camera and show them what they are. So that's just one idea of how you can do this. There's literally so many ways you could implement this based on who you are, what you do, but think about what are some things that you could literally show people how to do. So right here, I'm going to show you an example of how I've done this. So this is 3 poses that you can do with your significant other. So as a wedding photographer, it goes without saying, I pose couples all the time, and I know a few things when it comes to posing couples. So I put that into a reel, and it did really, really well. And I posed myself with my husband and gave ideas on how people can pose with their significant others. So this is just one way how you can take the things that you're good at, how you can turn it into reels. Think about how you can show up, how you can show people, how you can get valuable content and show them how to do new things they might want to know. Another idea I have for you guys is to share a story, or share a story about your clients, share a story about you and how you got started on your journey, share something that happened to you, an experience that happened to you. Think about some stories that you could share through reels. Those tend to do really, really well. So an example, again, I'm a photographer, so example of how I've done this is I recently shot a wedding that was, in 2020, we're in the midst of a pandemic, and I kind of shared almost this couple's story a little bit about how they originally had a big wedding planned and they had to downsize and just had an intimate wedding instead, but how it was still incredible, still beautiful, and an absolutely awesome day. And so even just something really simple like that, within 15 seconds, I'm able to share about someone else's story. I'm able to share about my client's story, the story that I captured. So you can do this in so many different ways. One reel that I am working on creating right now is sharing about my journey starting out and why I started as a photographer, as an educator, and that can just be a really cool way to not only let the people who already follow you and already invested in you and your journey get to know you more, but also to bring other people in. And if you have a really cool story of how you started, if you have a really cool story of a transformative point in your business, a transformative point in what you do, that can be really really cool thing to share and to bring people along on that journey with you. And then I know I said I was only gonna share 5 ideas, but I have a bonus idea for you guys. So the last thing that I wanna share, the idea for a reel that you can create, is to share something a little shocking. And I'm not saying you have to do anything crazy here, but think about almost like myths that you can bust in your industry specifically. So for example, one reel that I did recently that did really well was one where I shared things I do that aren't normal as a photographer. So basically things that are normal in my industry, things that a lot of photographers do that I don't do or that I do differently. And it really just was so interesting that it got so much reach, and it also really was super engaging with my audience. I had so many people commenting, like asking like, how do I not do this? How do I do this? How have I done it differently? And it was just a really cool way to use Reels to engage with the followers I already have, but also to reach new people. And I think that was one of my favorite Reels that I've done so far. So if there's any myths or anything in your industry that maybe you do differently, maybe you don't agree with, maybe a lot of people believe is true, but really is a myth that people buy into, create a reel based on that. It can be a really cool way to, yeah, just like create something that is super engaging with people and they're gonna be super interested in watching and knowing and immediately think, oh, like why did she do that differently? If you haven't already, be sure to download that Instagram Reels cover template. So this is the exact template I use for my Instagram Reels to make them look branded and really pretty, and also like I can push them to my feed and only have a certain portion of the photo showing up. So if you want that, it's free for you guys. You can go download it below and hit subscribe because I upload new videos every Tuesday and Friday, sharing a lot of Instagram strategies, sharing a lot of social media and small business tips and tricks. So I would love to have you guys just following along. Love sharing with you guys. You guys are the best. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment below. If you still are like, Stephanie, I have no idea how to actually implement this for myself, tell me what you do below and we can brainstorm some ideas, brainstorm some things that would work for you and some reels that you can create. And I really encourage you just to start creating reels because there is nothing that is going to grow you on Instagram faster right now than creating Instagram reels. And it's just been incredible for my brand, my growth, and it's been super, super exciting. So I encourage you to jump in, try it out, create a reel, tag me in it if you create one because I want to see it. I want to see you guys creating them. I'm super, super excited for you, and I can't wait to share more with you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.